Hello everybody, my name is KingStix and I have a brand new jungle guide video for you. Today we're going to be doing a Sejuani Jungle guide. Let's start off with your clears. If your mid laner can't leash you at raptors, you're going to want to go ahead and start on your bot hand side. So if you're on blue side of the map, this is going to be your red. And if you're on red side of the map, this is going to be your blue. If you start raptors, start W. If you start at a buff, start with your E. It'll give you a lot more single target damage. If you do start at your red, in this case on blue side of the map, you want to go ahead and skip your raptors because they'll take a lot of health off of you and they'll take overall too long to kill. So now I'm going to come over here to my wolf camps. I still have my smite up. The reason why I didn't want to smite red is because smite at level 1 gives you back less HP than smite at level 2. Also, smite does more damage at level 2, so just logically, I'd want to go ahead and save it for this camp. I've tested it, and you do end up with more HP and faster clears at the end of it. Now, after wolves, we're going to move on to blue. Notice how right when it's about to hit me, I knock it away with my W. It's about to hit me again, and then I stun it. I just avoided 2 auto attacks from it, and then my passive absorbed the first auto, so I've really only been hit by 2 autos so far. So whenever it's about to hit you, hit it with your W, and then whenever it's about to hit you again, stun it. That way you won't take any damage from it. Now I'm going to move on to my Gromp. Auto Q, it hasn't hit me yet. Right when it's about to hit me, I W. Right when it's about to hit me again, I stun it, smite, and I'm going to finish it off. This isn't going to give me level 4, but it's overall a really strong clear. I'm nearly level 4, and now I can go down to Scuttle. If I see an open gank while I'm doing my blue buff, I can easily go to top or mid without doing Gromp since I am level 3. Or take Scuttle Vision and then go for a gank mid or top. If there isn't a gank mid or top right now that you think you can make, just go ahead, recall, get your jungle item, go down bot side, do your Gromps, Raptors, or maybe gank bot lane. Alright guys, so in the early game, you pretty much want to be level 3 whenever you gank. You need to be wary of enemy junglers because most enemy junglers are stronger than you at level 3 and earlier. Kha'Zix, Rengar, Graves, Lee Sin, Warwick, Nidalee, the list goes on. Pretty much any early game jungler will give Sejuani a lot of trouble in an early level. So in this case, Graves saw me, he saw me coming this way, so I can figure he's coming to get me. So I'm being a little bit safe. I'm worried he's going to come get me, so I'm holding on to my Q. It's just coming up right now. I'm still playing it safe, dragging it out a little bit, trying to make up some distance just in case he comes from the north or the wall. I'm going to hold on to my smite to try to smite it, and here he is. I'm going to try to get away. I do land my smite. I'm trying to not hit him with my Q so I can get over the wall. He flashes, then I flash away from him. I'm going to want to ping for my teammates to come help me since Graves is really out of position with no flash. Luckily, Kled is paying attention. He's going to come down, start helping me. Graves is going to try to dash over the wall, but Kled's way ahead of him. And now Graves is going to give our team an easy kill. I do dash over the wall and use my W. And the good thing is I do pick up the kill. The red buff would have been great on Kled. But getting me that extra gold early game is going to help me out a lot against Graves, and it will put me ahead of him. Since Graves is an early mid-game jungler, this will give me the extra boost I need to step on his neck in the early and mid-game. So here, I'm just waiting for the gank. I thought Thresh was going to walk into the bush, or I didn't know if he was baiting the flay, so I used my Q immediately. That way he couldn't flay me, because I didn't want him to be able to see me first. Run into him, W, hit him with the second part, which is very important, because the second part of your W is the slow, and then stun him. We do pick up the kill on him here. It's really important whenever using your W to watch their movement carefully and mimic it, because the second part of your W does the most damage, and it's also the slow aspect. So landing the second part of your W is super important, and if you do land it, you can easily walk up to them anyway, so don't worry about losing a few inches in movement just because you're trying to land your W. I'm waiting for Cass to use his ult. He does, and I know he doesn't have a dash. W, hit him with the second part, smite, auto. Then I'm going to stun him. Now I want to use my ult after I use my E stun, because if you use your ult stun, then it won't let you use your E stun for like 8 or 9 seconds. It's a really long time. So always get off your E stun before you use your ult. That way you'll have 2 stuns total. When you're fighting an enemy, don't panic. Just keep attacking them so you can get off your stun. Make sure you try to hit them while they're frozen. That way you'll get the extra damage. In this case, I didn't need the extra damage since he used 1 auto and he was very slippery. But it's very important that when you're in a situation where you're going to die, just turn on them. You have a lot more burst than you think you do, because with your E stacks, whenever they get frozen, you hit them, it does a lot of damage, especially max health damage. Here, Riven's being really slippery. I use my Q in a very bad way. I tried to predict her going back into the turret. I should have just kept walking up to her first since we're really tanky and we had time. She's flashing away, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let this bitch get away. I'm going to flash, then Q, immediately W, auto attack, etc. Now I'm trying to get away from Graves. I want to get a little bit of distance between me and him before I ult. Even though it wasn't a lot, it gave me the 2-second stun instead of the 1-second stun. If you ult them point blank, you'll only get a 1-second stun, and that does do less damage, and it doesn't cause an AoE freeze to the other enemies. In the later mid game, once you're about level 11 and up on Sejuani, just like with most tank junglers, you'll feel yourself starting to get stronger and stronger as long as you aren't really far behind. So you can use that to your advantage, push your strengths, you can force fights a lot more. And whenever you're not wanting to fight and it's not a good situation, if one of your teammates is out of position, in the mid game, just let them die. You're not tanky enough at this point to just run in and 1v9. For example, when Blitz did that, it was much better for me to let him die than me jump in too as well and die. The reason why I started out with my ult is because I knew it would be 2 seconds. Plus, since Thresh was so far out of position, I figured we could kill him and we wouldn't need the extra stun. Luckily, we do get the kill on him. Stayed on Cassidy and hit him with the second part of my slow. Now he's really low. He flashes out. I land my stun on him still. Your E has a really large stun radius. Even if they're slightly outside of the circle, it will still reach. So don't panic. Even if they get a little outside, you can still throw it and it will chase them down once you've actually pressed it. Alright, so now the enemies are coming in onto me. They're out of position. I'm hella tanky and I do a lot of damage. Auto attack E. Right when she's coming out of my E stun, I immediately ult, even though I'm point blank, to get the extra stun duration because I want to get Riven killed because she's a huge threat to our team. Plus, she was out of position. So since she was stunned that whole time, it gave my ADC and Kata more than enough time to take her down. After you have your Cinderholt and your Ninja Tabbies, I really like to go for Warmog if I'm ahead. If I'm behind, I'll usually go for a Knight's Vow and to lock it into Warmog, but generally, I really like to get Warmog right after my Cinder and Tabbies because I have enough health to take advantage of it, and it makes me really powerful in fights because if I barely survive, I can come back like 9 seconds later and be full HP. It's also really good if the enemy team doesn't have something like a Vayne, because they won't have a proper way to kill you since you have so much HP. And I just overall really love Warmog as an item on Sejuani. If you do get Warmog for your technically third item after Cinderhulk and Boots, then I do highly suggest getting a Thornmail next or going straight for Locket. If you do get Warmog, getting Locket is a lot better than going for Knight's Vow since you will have so much HP that will make Locket that much stronger. If you don't get Warmog, I highly suggest you getting Knight's Vow and Locket though. That way you're more of a support tank than you are an actual tank. Your Q has a lot more distance than the indicator actually shows. It's pretty much a third longer than indicator shows, even if it says you can't reach. More often than not, your Q will actually reach. It's similar to Gragas's Body Slam in that sense. Throw ult from a distance, get the full 2-second stun, Q into him auto, Q, smite, and he is dead. The reason why I just immediately stunned him with my ultimate instead of stunning him with my E first, that would take advantage of both stuns, is because I was trying to stop him immediately because he was using his ultimate and I didn't want him to kill any of my teammates. Here, Nasus is out of position, just Q over the wall, hit him with the second part of my W, which is the slow auto attack, E for the stun, hit him again to break the ice, hit Sejuani to break the ice, which does a lot of damage, stay on them with my slows. Try to keep your eyes peeled for enemies who have 4 stacks of freeze on them because your E can stun them. Even if you're not the one who applied it, any nearby allied champions can apply it. It's very similar to the way Braum's passive works, except only your melee allied champions can apply it, not ranged champions. Ranged champions cannot apply this effect. Sejuani is a great champion to camp bushes with since she has so much CC. She's fairly mobile with her Q. Not only that, but she's really tanky, so even if the enemies do turn on you, you're not going to die. Whenever you're camping the bush, make sure to clear vision first, and then just wait. Here I think he was going to ward it. Morgana threw down her snare, I Q into him, and he dies pretty much instantly since Cho'Gath does ult him. We would have been able to kill him without Cho'Gath ult, but he wanted to get that extra stack on himself. Sometimes as a team, you'll be out of position. Here Morgana steps up way too far, puts herself in a bad spot, so I step forward to slow both enemies, and then I Q away, slow Shyvana. Now I'm coming over here to block again. I slow Shyvana again. I just gave my team several slows, helping them get out. And whenever the enemies are about to turn on me, I can just simply Q away and there's not much they can do. Remember, your slow is AoE on your W, and make sure to land the second part for the actual slow itself. Here the enemies come in onto me, so I'm going to have to start running away. I'm pretty much waiting for my Q to come up, and then I'm going to jump. I don't really want to use my flash yet. They back off since Cho'Gath comes to back me out. My Warmog is about to activate, so I just need like 8 seconds to be full HP. It's pretty retarded. Try to get away from Annie. I get away from her without her hitting me. I'm nearly full HP. I go back and she drops her spells on me, figuring I would have been lower on HP. So now I'm just going to keep backing away. Twitch put himself in a really bad spot and got cut out of position. There's not much I could do about that because I was so low on HP. Come over here, try to get down some slows for my Morgana. They're turning on me, but all I have to do is activate my W, land the slow onto Sejuani, and they can't really chase me since it is AoE, and I can move while I'm casting my W. So here I just keep hitting her, doing damage and slowing her, trying to harass them, stop them from getting dragon. LeBlanc is taking her sweet old time coming down here. Not quite sure what she's doing. They are doing dragon right now, I figure, so I'm going to come down here. I'm really tanky, so they can't really kill me, and like I said, I just got to use my W properly. If Sejuani turns on to me, I'm just going to hit her with the first part and try to hit her with the second part, so land the slow. She's getting lower and lower on health. My ultimate is up. She's getting really frustrated because she wants her team to help kill me, but her team isn't willing to engage since I am full HP off of my Warmog. Hit her again. She lands snare, ult into Q, and I insta-burst her, and now I'm going to run away. There's no point in staying at this point. I'm low on HP and mana, so just back off. Late game, Annie's at way out of position. Just ult her. I could easily take like 40 turret shots, keep going in deep. Whenever you have a hyper carry behind you and they're going activated, just try to land your CC and let them carry you. As long as you can keep your hyper carry from getting CC'd or knocked around, you're going to win the game, because in the late game, it just matters about the ADC and mid laner. As long as you can lock down the enemy team and hold the front line, you can let your ADC or mid laner just blow them apart. So here I'm doing some more tanking, landing some more CC. Sejuani goes past me to try to get my team, but she doesn't really have much of effect since she's fighting 4 people. After a fight like that, look to take an objective. In this case, we did take Baron. I see Twitch's ultimate is up, so I'm going to use my Q to engage and then stun. Me and Cho'Gath both use our ult trying to break down their front line. Twitch is comfortably sitting in our back line. Nothing can touch him since he has 2 huge tanks. Staying on Annie, I know how tanky I am and how much damage me and Cho can do. We take her down. I go in on to Zyra, but she keeps running away. Now, at this point, I just need to back off. I activate my Gargoyle Stone Plate just in case they try something funky. Just going to back off. Look at my Warmog pumping HP into me. I'm getting over like 200 per second. Nothing they can do to touch me. It's honestly really, really OP. As long as you position correctly on Sejuani and CC the right people on the enemy team, in the late game, there's no reason you can't win unless your AD carry is just retarded or something and they go in 1v9 without you. Alright guys, I want to touch over runes, masteries, items, and skill order real quick. Now, like I said, for your items, always talisman, refillable pot, warding totem. After that, if you have the money, go back for Balmy Cinder if you have 900 gold. If not, it's okay to go for your Chilling Smite and boots, then pick up the rest of your Cinder Hulk. After you have your Cinder Hulk, make sure you get your Ninja Tabbies. You need it for your mobility. After you have your Cinder Hulk and Ninja Tabbies, you need to decide whether you're fed in the head or not. If you're fed in the head, go ahead, go straight for your Warmog and Thornmail. If you're not fed in the head, after Cinder Hulk Tabbies, go ahead and pick up a Knight's Vow and a Locket. It's going to be overall the best for your team. Anything after that point just involves items that give you health, utility, and CDR. So getting things like Gargoyle Stone Plate are amazing. Even getting something like a Frozen Heart is really good because it gives you so much CDR. You might even get something like Adaptive Armor. You just need to play to this situation. If the enemy team has a lot of AD, get armor items. If the enemy team has a lot of AP, get MR items. Alright guys, now talking over skill order. If you're starting Raptors, because you're getting a leash from your mid laner, start W. If you're starting at a buff, start with your E. It's a lot better for single target takedowns. Max your W first. It's going to give you the most damage and the most slows. After that, you're going to want to max E, and you're going to want to go ahead and max your Q last, and of course taking your ultimate whenever you can. Now guys, for your runes, I highly suggest you take the ones I have here. They're going to help you a lot with your sustain, and they're honestly some of the best runes I've seen anyone take before on Sejuani. Alright, so for your reds, I suggest flat attack speed reds, 9 scaling health per level yellows, and to compensate for these scaling health, you're going to want to take 1 armor quint, and then take 2 attack speed quints. This is very important. Then for your glyphs, you're going to want to go ahead and take 3 scaling magic resist per level, and then 6 scaling cooldown reduction per level glyphs. The 6 scaling CDR glyphs are really important because they will give you 10% CDR at level 18, which is absolutely amazing. Alright guys, and for your masteries, the most important thing is to take Stoneborn Pact. If you take Courage of the Colossus, it's not quite as good, especially in teamfights, it's quite a bit weaker. Courage of the Colossus is only better in a 1v1, 2v2 situation. Overall, I highly suggest Stoneborn Pact, and then taking 12 in ferocity. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up this Sejuani guide. I don't want to keep this too long, but I could tell it's getting way too long. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My name is KingStix. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you next video.
Yeah.